and welcome to the yet again tour of my property. It has been a few months once again since I uploaded the last video. Well, the last proper video where I wasn't just rambling about things that bothered me at the moment. So let me just wipe this spider web off the camera, which just means as to how much I've been neglecting everything. Hello. So, it's been a while and I do have some updates for you all. First of all, the first major update are these. You might have seen them teased in the last video where I was slowly starting to earth, like properly ground all of them together, and now they're up and running actually. So my entire house is living off of free electricity right now, provided by the sun, even though it's, you know, cloudy right now. So yeah, let's just go through that kind of quickly, hopefully. So first of all, these are the panels. They are all connected in a series, meaning it goes from plus to minus to plus to minus to plus to minus through the cable over there. I can just show you. And then through the cable there, connect it to this one, connect it, and then going all the way through there. Then we have put the cables together in here, basically. What we have here is, I'll just keep it closed. If it would hold, piece of shit. There you go. Through a surge protector, and then just a normal breaker. And the other two are still not used. These are basically just to fill out the space and to have them here and ready for if I were to extend the solar panels in the future. Just because it was literally cheaper getting those now instead of having to pay shipment price twice and ordering them from Ireland, because those came directly from China. Okay, so yeah. But just a quick overview of those. Then those cables run into the ground, which have long since been grassed up already, because grass just tends to grow quickly and plentiful in summertime in Ireland. That's just how it is. So those cables go up to here, and then in a straight beeline into the shed where my inverter and my battery system is. They're going through here. As you can see, that's where the solar cables, in I think this tube, is it? This one? No, it's this one. These are the solar cables. Then this is the 5x4, which goes back into my house. So solar cables are connected to my inverter. There they go in, plus and minus. Jesus, the spiders are fast with going up and doing fucking spider webs everywhere. So these are connected to my batteries, which look like a fucking bomb. But I don't really care, as long as it works. So what you can see here is basically the solar panels creating solar power, which are getting put into the batteries, which are powering my home. Now you can see, you know, there's sort of sun, and there it only says 0.16 or something around that. Reason for that is because all my batteries are full and my home is not producing as much of a load, so the solar panels only create what is necessary to cover the load. So yeah, that's about it. And if you want to see how it operates, I'll probably be doing a more intensive video on this one day. As I was saying, yeah, lots of things to do, limited amount of time, limited amount of motivation to edit. Yeah, that's about it. So It's a 5 kilowatt inverter. Those are 14.3 kilowatts of storage. The whole setup, including the panels, all the wiring, everything, cost me 6,400, and that just basically means I'll have free electricity probably for the next 30 years. Yes, an investment that was necessary, in my opinion, with the rising electricity prices, and absolutely justified with the low cost of doing it all by myself. So yeah, apart from that, quick update. As you might have noticed, the shed has been mostly finished, as in all the plates have been laid, and all the shelves have been shelved and stuff. I have this now, which is a freezer, a large freezer, which allows me to put all my ducks, and Jesus Christ, the fucking wind, all the ducks, all the chickens, and all the vegetables and everything in there if I wanted to. Apart from that, I have this little thing which will sort of serve as my next little thing, my next little enclosure for hatching birds. So basically, whenever I have too many outside or I can't protect them, or I'm hatching chickens, which I am right now, I have them inside in a incubator, I can put them in here and they'll be safe, and then I can access them whenever I want, basically. That's basically that. Apart from that, this is the first version that I built, and it was too small, so I just grabbed the nearest box I could find from the local co-op and used that. So yeah, this will serve its purpose one day. Also, there's onions. I harvested those yesterday, and now they'll be drying out, sort of. And yeah, that'll be another while. And also I designed this, which will be a killing cone. Basically, you string it up, and then you stick the neck of the rooster or the bird or whoever you want to slit its throat, and yeah, you let it bleed out. A little bit morbid, but yes, that is the state of it. That is the state of it. So for now, we can close this back up. Actually, no. Let's leave it open. Let's leave that open for a second, because I want to show you just how much the solar panels can create, especially with the sun being now out and shining. So yeah, as we were following, the cable from the inverter obviously comes down the same area that we dug up here with a friend who was here, then goes around here. You can maybe still see the trace of it having been dug up, since the grass is not quite grown back yet, mostly because it's just stone. But yeah, it goes up through there, well, not through there, these are just in the way. But yeah, you can see it goes up there, all the way across that. Also, I installed a security camera and a fucking gate, because that was fucking necessary. Excuse my swearing. Goes up there, and inside, through there, and in here. That's basically it. Also, that thing has not moved since I installed solar power. Except when I was taking a shower, because how I have set it up is because I have an electric shower right now. Basically, let's get this around here. Basically how it works is the electric shower draws too much of a current for the inverter to cover. So the inverter goes up to 5 kilowatts of current, of draw, and the electric shower takes 9, which is quite a lot, not to say, not to underplay it. So basically, with the house extension, which I have planned for next year, which is coming along, so to speak, gathering information, with that being planned and everything, if I have that done, then I can be completely off-grid. And basically means that I'll never have to pay for electricity ever again. it's big, it's very big, it's very good. And also, while we are here, while we're inside, this is the incubator, which I have been lent from Nadia, a good friend of mine who basically told me and taught me a lot of things. So that's it, sitting there at, I don't even know if you can see that, 37.5, 37.4 degrees and 49% humidity. I literally cannot get the humidity down anymore. That's just the natural humidity in Ireland, or at least in my home. So that would be the explanation as to why so many of my things start to mold relatively quickly, especially untreated wood and the likes of that. So might need to get a dehumidifier one stage. So what I did here, hello, this is my bathroom. Planning to extending this, and this is my tank. It basically is sort of the storage version for hot water, and never really used it much, but since we hooked it up with the Stanley stove, with Stanley's cooker stove, it's sort of just acting as a storage tank for excess hot water. So it sort of pumps through it and gets fresh water and just, I don't know how it works, don't ask me. Anyways, there was this immersion, this thing on it, which basically is a way to just heat the thing. It is highly power consuming though. It draws 3 kilowatt of power, which is a lot. But then again, it heats this whole tank rather quickly. Well, I wouldn't say rather quickly. It takes it about 2 hours to heat this fully. And I would basically have to have it running for 2.5, maybe 3 hours for it to be able to heat my radiators. Like to get a good warmth from the radiators. So what I can do now, since I hooked this up rather crudely, but it works with a light switch pretty much, what I can do is flip this switch and now it's slowly heating. So as I told you just now, this draws 3 kilowatts of hour and 3 kilowatts of electricity. And what I could then do also would be to basically just enable this little pump down there. If you can see, I could put this on there, and now it draws water from across the pipes and circulates it. And that's what it would be doing. So basically I can now heat my house with electricity, just with simple electricity. So that could work. And I tried it. Obviously in summertime it's not quite the best indicator of how warm it'll get, but I felt the radiators when they were heating up after like 2 hours, and yeah, it was alright. So it obviously plays into account with there being limited sun power, like limited sun in general in winter time, which is when you actually need it, which is not the best solution. But however, I do have some storage, some 14.3 kilowatts of storage, of energy storage, so I might be able to use that to actually heat the house with excess electricity in the daytime. That might work. So having said all that, now that we see, I put the immersion on, you know, the heater, you can see here, it says 3.07 kilowatts roughly. Now if we see at the solar panels, it says 3.2, because basically they are being hit by glorious sun. So as I'm producing this load, the solar panels cover it almost instantly. And you can see, this is all solar panels. The batteries, which are completely full by the way, do not need to do anything because the solar panels create enough of power to cover all the load. So that's it. That's the solar setup. that I have going. And it would not have been possible, like, I did not really create this all by myself. Like, obviously I ordered all the materials and I hooked it up by myself, but it would have not been possible without someone helping me. And this someone has been a great help all across the whole project. And he has helped me whenever he could, whenever he had the time to answer literally all of my questions. And yeah, that was very, very nice of him, to say the least. Because without him, I would have still had to research a whole lot more. And especially with hooking up everything inside the house, like all the breakers, all the fuse boards, breaker boards, whatever the fuck you call them, it would not have been easy, because that was just a territorium that I have not set foot yet into. And yeah, so he helped a lot, a fuck ton to say the least. And also thanks to Fabian, who came by and helped me build these pallets, those pallet constructions, like having a second pair of hands when constructing something like this and then mounting those panels on is a whole, like a big difference. It makes a very big difference to having a helping hand out here. Big thanks to him. So yeah, as I'm saying, I did not do this alone, not completely. I had help, but I still wired it all up by myself. That's all I can say to that. Yeah, as I said, there will probably be a video about it at some stage. Don't expect it for another year. Just keep your expectations low, alright? If you keep your expectations low, you can never be disappointed. That's just the one rule that I've kept through all my life, ever since I was disappointed in school a whole lot of times. That was like 10 years ago. Anyways, welcome to my polytunnel. No, this is not a jungle. I've actually cleaned this up a whole lot already. Like those were cucumbers, like those are still cucumbers obviously, but there were 2 on them. I harvested them, they're inside. There was weeds basically up to here. To here, where's my hand there? So got all those out. Same here, weeds up to here. Oh, yeah, tomatoes, some salad, and lots of tomatoes. And this time I actually am getting tomatoes. If you can see, there's one right here, and there's one over there, if you can see that. And there's more all over the place. They are slowly but surely coming through, which is the first major difference from last year's attempt, because last year I hardly got any. So, yeah, lots of tomatoes, cucumbers as well. Quite a few of them actually. There's one right here, probably pretty ripe for the picking, to be honest. Might give it another day. There's spring onion from last year, we do not talk about those. And then there's peppers. Peppers. Those might have actually crossed with chilies. So I'm not quite sure how they'll turn out. I just hope they'll be alright, or I hope that they'll just turn out to be normal peppers and not all chilies. Anyways, I'll have to see, because they are growing well. They are growing really, really well. As you can see here, they're coming along quite nicely. I have no idea when to pick them, by the way. Someone help me. There's also still a crap ton of kale. Like, it doesn't get any less. They just keep on growing, really. I have no idea what to do with it. I have been blanching and preparing my broccoli and my courgettes this time. Yeah, that's going quite nicely. So still have lots to do. Still have a lot of food to prepare and to blanch and preserve. Like what you can see here is all broccoli that has long been harvested, and it's still creating offshoots. Obviously not as big as the first ones, but yeah, they're going all right. Then also one which sort of didn't produce anything anymore. I saw it produced quite a few bits of these bits. No idea what they are, obviously just offshoots, but yeah, so I just cut the root, the main thing, completely down, and I'm just letting this grow, just seeing what's gonna happen here. No idea. Aside from that, yeah, the usual courgette scene that you probably know from last year already. Yeah, there's another one ready for harvest. They just keep on coming. And at this pace, I'm basically just feeding the most of them to the ducks, because they like them a lot, and I do not have enough patience or space to keep all of them. All of the courgettes, I mean, not the ducks. I mean, the ducks are something similar, but whatever. So, that was that. Let's get outside. Outside into this place, which is where I harvested the first onions that you saw inside the shed. And there's still a few more here. Still letting them grow a little bit more. I might have actually gotten the others too early as well. Maybe they would have still grown, I don't know. So yeah, it's just basically an experience thing to know when you should harvest and everything. And what you can see here is a lot of potatoes. They are good, actually, because I did get a few already. I dug a few up just to have a taste and see how good they were, and they were obviously not completely ripe yet. As in, usually you want the plant to die back completely before you harvest them. Yeah, so that hasn't happened yet, as you can see here as well. Like the plant is, you know, not doing its best, but it's definitely still alive. And also there's a small apple tree, I think, which I planted like half a year ago, and I don't know, it's coming along. And then this is the aftermath of something that I did yesterday. I took the shears out, basically, or the snips, and I just cut away at the duck enclosure because it was getting too full of everything. Lots of brambles in here and lots of, you know, these trees which have spikes, and not nice, not nice. So I just cut those down a little bit. This is just the compost pile, basically. Yeah, still don't have an optimal solution for those. For that. The trees are coming along nicely. It'll be another year before they produce any fruit whatsoever. But yeah, growing nicely. Lots of shoots, lots of strong shoots. And they're doing all good. Like that one's going good. There's another one behind that. Those are going good. Yeah. Hello, chickens. So you guys are doing good. These guys have provided me with 25 of their eggs, which are being incubated right now. Those will basically replace these pullets, these female chickens, next year. Yeah. Or I'll keep all the female chickens and just replace the rooster, which is definitely an option as well. Might be the course of action. So those two guys, as you've seen with me designing the killing cone and everything, those guys are on its last month, on their last month of being under the living. Because, yeah, think it's time. It's actually long past overdue for them to, you know, say goodbye to the earth. It's about time. And also those are the aftermaths of the courgette, which has been picked on by the chickens and by the ducks. They have been working away at those. Okay. So, last but not least, let's go to the duck enclosure. The duck enclosure. As you might remember, there was a big clutch of chickens, not chickens, of ducks. 39 to be exact, of very young ducks. And they have all been sold. Well, the ones that survived. Let's just say it like that. The ones that survived have been sold, which were 22. The other 17 have been eaten by wildlife, mainly because they were escaping through the fences and the mothers could not herd them back because obviously they were too fat for the little gaps in the fence. So to reiterate, literally these gaps here were big enough for the ducks to escape and then fuck off into anywhere but safety. That was them. So I had to get rid of them all because I could literally not contain them. And then see these two, and there should be one more, which are now I think 3.5 months old, which were the first batch of the year. Yeah, some of those have actually been eaten by a mink. So the mink has still not been caught, which is not too nice to say the least. And he did some attacks on the young ducks. So some of them have been killed, fortunately. But those 3 are the survivors, which after I realized that the mink was back, I locked in for a week, then I put the trap out, and by that time the mink had already moved on and chosen somewhere else. So those 3 are out again, and I think there will be a buyer coming for the last female and the other 2 drakes. So there's 1 drake and 2 drakes and 1 female there. The other 2 drakes might replace the old drakes in there, and then they'll just keep on growing, and either I'll sell the complete chocolate one, which is something that you do not see as much in terms of color schemes. You usually have, you know, the white and chocolate color, as you see from the other 2, or basically all the other ones that I have here. You know, that's just how they look like. So being completely chocolate might have some value to be a breeding drake and to further just keep the completely brown chocolate color, as we call it here, in the genes, basically. So yeah, that's them, and that's my plans for them. Aside from that, this is Drago. He's still doing good. He's still a good boy. He has evolved to be quite the good boy. He is a nice drake. He's compliant. He is doing the deed. He's getting the job done, pretty much. So yeah, this is now the the less bushy, less brambly entrance, which has been cleared yesterday. As you can see, there were quite the few bits and pieces which have been cut, as well as here this complete area was completely bushy and it was getting annoying. So inside here, a familiar scene. We actually have some very aggressive duckies who are sitting again. But they've been sitting for 2.5 weeks now, and yeah, I might have to gather at least a clutch of ducks from them and then put them into the smaller cage which I constructed, and have to keep an eye on them because these guys are if they're hatching at the same time again, it's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well, to say the least. So yeah, that's it for now. That is it for now. Just checking if the battery is actually charging. Yeah, that's been me, I think. Who's a good boy? Come here. Of course you don't want to come here. You want to come mingle with your girlfriends. Because why would you do anything else? You're a good boy. So yeah, that's me. And so the biggest update obviously being the solar panels and the now completely free electricity, which I can proudly say I am enjoying a lot. I am definitely enjoying the free electricity. Yeah. So ever since I installed these, which has now been 3 weeks, I think, since I connected them up, I have not seen a single moving of the meter, which basically dictates my electricity bill. Meaning, I am saving a whole lot of money. Yes. That's the big point. That is the very big point in all of this. Yeah. So with those projects being done now, the next big thing is now obviously the house extension, which is where I'll be gathering information, materials, well, mostly information. Over the winter, I'll mostly be gathering information. And yeah, it's like I'm talking about the winter as it's right next door. It's literally July. It's the end of the July. Well, winter might be coming sooner than I wanted to. Yes. So yeah, that's the project for the fall, winter time. Apart from that, maybe I'll give the other enclosure there another go. You know, the one where you can see the balloon, the yellow thing there. If I can if I can transform, Jesus Christ, if I can transform that into a proper enclosure, then I might be able to actually house either the young ducks, the young chickens, or maybe a goat for next year. Anyways, that was the update from me. I hope you're all doing well. I am doing pretty well myself, if I do say so. If I can say so. Yes! That was me. I'll be editing this together now. It gives me something to do, right? Yeah! I think that's it. Don't worry, I'll be turning the immersion off now, because obviously it is winter. It is summer, and I do not need to heat my home right now. It is warm enough as it is. Yes, that's pretty much it. Wish you all a good day, wherever you are and whoever you are.